Hey, hey. All right, all right. Oh, Simon. Hello. Anyway, we can get started. Hi, everyone. Sorry? Oh, yeah, that show. How was it? We liked? Yes? Amazing model. Great energy. Good job, Simon. Loved it. Anyway, so today we're talking about digital fashion and the desire dilemma. So we're just going to casually discuss about the limitless possibilities of digital fashion and the impact it can have on our desires and consumer habits. So we wanted to hear it from the voices of those who create it. So today we have Simon, Sarah, Wes, and myself. I'm Shaylee Harrison. I'm the founder of Mutiny. We're a virtual to reality fashion brand. We partner with game publishers to elevate gaming merchandise in phygital. So I'll leave it to you guys to give a short introduction about who you are. So, yeah.
I'm Sarah. I am a trained fashion designer turned digital artist, now freelance, and my main occupation is creating augmented reality experiences. That includes also phygital pieces, so AR layers on top of physical elements.
Yeah, I've seen the masks. They were really amazing. So did a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah. Here's Simon. You had a chance to see a little bit from our artists from Maison Dao, which is a Web3 fashion collective, and XA Drip, which is our studio for AI art. You also had some elements of AI art on the screen. Yeah, and I'm the founder of this project. Always trying to help.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Hey. Okay. This
Oh,
one is much
that's
better. Now,
Hey,
now I can hear
Simon.
myself from the speakers.
Why didn't you guys tell us? What the
Hey.
hell? Anyway.
I think you heard me, but I will just repeat for the sake of the recordings. Here's Simon. I'm a founder of Maison Dao and XA Drip, which Maison Dao is a Web3 fashion collective, and XA Drip is an agency dedicated to AI art and AI fashion. You had a chance to see some of our artists on the screen and some of our physical collection on the catwalk. I'm super happy to be here, and yeah, thank you.
Hey everyone, is this working?
Yeah, you're on.
We have to hold it really close though.
Yeah.
I'm Wes. Thank you all for being here. I am a artist, but for the past 3.5 years, 4 years, I've been LARPing as a digital fashion strategist. So previously was creative director of a. Did you have to do this too? Is this better?
Get it right in
Maybe
there.
it's just my voice.
Deep in the gold.
Projection problems. Okay. Yeah, so, better. I was creative director of a project called BNV, based out of Singapore, which is a digital fashion studio. And before that was core team of Metafactory. And now I'm independently consulting.
Yeah, nice. So today we want to discuss how digital fashion can affect our desires and the way we crave new things. So, there's a lot of endless variety in fashion as well as in digital fashion. And I want to know, ultimately, at the end of this discussion, we want to figure out a bit, does it make us want more, like buy more, or does it help us be satisfied with less? So my first kind of question to open up to you guys, and just kind of answer freely, we're just going to keep it casual, but do you think digital fashion can help us redefine our relationship with consumption and materialism? So, because of these endless possibilities in the digital fashion space, does it help us to shift our focus from owning physical items to digital items? And does it help us experience self-expression in brand new ways? Who wants to say something? Wes?
I'll start. I think that fashion is such a packed term, and it has, at the same time, it's always had a definition of being something that represents the time, something that is au courant. And unfortunately, when fashion has just been limited to a layer of physical garb, we're packing in all of the social signaling that fashion has. And that means that the proliferation of fashion, the incredibly fast cycles of production and showing, have required a fast turnover of physical items. And so I think there's a promise that is pretty, it's talked about a lot, of course, but it's that promise that if we can decouple the desire to have, a constant changing assortment of signals and not need to attach that to cotton or polyester or whatever, then there could be just a fresher or cleaner layer of that kind of flexibility of showcasing your values and not having to throw something out and make something else, with the digital.
Oh, that's really interesting.
And I will prepare a setup for Sarah, because I think from my side, how I see it, especially when you look into the social media part, right, to the filters, to the photo mapping of items on the photos, you can see that definitely we could decouple it, right? We could make many of the photo shoots, many of the things that are being created on social media could be done, and it's already happening, without having to produce any physical item, right? Or produce an item through 3D printing or other form which is blank, and with filters you put additional layers on it. So you produce one item, but you can have 50, 100, 1,000 editions that you can use on social media for your digital identity. Because the fashion is mostly about it's about the identity, and with digital fashion we can get to this concept of digital identity, which is kind of fluid. Anybody can be anything and anyone they want. And this can, in my opinion, can really shift this, can shift from producing fast fashion, producing items that you're showing every day, every week, to producing less. And that's what I believe in.
Did you have anything to say on that, Sarah?
Yes, I do. Should I take? So I think what's happening right now with the digital fashion is that there's so much cool and awesome stuff happening. These things just look out of another world, and everyone wants to have it, everyone wants to have more. So for me right now, at least the gut feeling I'm having is that the digital fashion era has kind of accelerated the mass production of physical pieces, in my opinion. Because people just want more and more, because suddenly there is somehow more and more and more. But what I'm also seeing, or what I kind of feel like will happen, is that these pieces, these things that people really want to have, really want to wear, I think at one point they're going to become so abstract and out there that it's not possible to wear them in the physical realm anymore. So I think that these pieces, this desire for wearing something, will really turn much, much more digital, and then I hope also the consumption amount will sort of shift into another direction, but it's super hard to say what that will look like. Just that the pieces that are desired will be so complex you won't be able to produce them anymore in physical, which is right now for me what's happening with a lot of AI generated images, that they are actually being produced into physical pieces. They actually really look like not good. It's very hard to reproduce an AI image into the physical space, but people are trying, and I think at one point that won't be enough. And that's, I think, where the digital overlaying, like you said, with either augmented reality or any other kind of way of projecting digital layers onto physical pieces will be the thing. Or maybe what we will be wearing physically will be completely simple, and all what we really desire to wear is just going to be digital. But that's kind of like my scenario imagination of fashion.
That's an interesting point you make. But to kind of play devil's advocate to the very positive kind of outcomes you guys have been discussing, could the kind of this, we already live in a space where it's like ordering something is 2 clicks of a button. If there's already such like a rapid turnover of trend and this need to like keep up, and then with digital fashion almost making that faster and faster, does it set like a, do you think it sets like a precedent of like expectations of like I should be able to like have this immediately, like without even a production time, without even waiting for any delivery? It maybe it places an expectation that we should have things like poof, like The Sims. You turn around, you have a new outfit. I wonder, is there a crossover then between the physical and digital in that sense, that mindset, that need for like, I want it now? What do you guys think about that? Go on.
I think there's an interesting correlation between hyper consumption cycles, like the speed at which we consume, but also something innate about the power of faster feedback cycles. So when I think about hyper clicking, I think about AI generating, and how you get into this kind of compulsive flow state where there's something emerging and you're not quite hitting it, but you just keep going and going and clicking, and at the end of a couple hours you have like 1,500 images. And it makes me feel really bad about myself, but at the same time, there's something intrinsically new about how quickly we can receive feedback for a prompt or for an impulse. And so it's kind of like the connection between new tooling, new technology, but the same drive to want to see effect in the world happen faster and faster and faster. And so it's hard to kind of put a black and white conviction towards it, because I think there's something intrinsic about how we learn and process information that's changing based off of the feedback speed.
That's really interesting you say that, because the feedback cycle, then we really get to know what people want faster in a sense as well. Did you guys have anything to comment on?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole point with social AR and product try-ons right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what I was hoping for this kind of thing to achieve is that people would use this technology to try it on in the virtual space and then buy it only if they really want it. Unfortunately, it's not really exactly turning out like this right now, but I mean, this was the scenario I had hoped would happen. But yeah, it really accelerated the need for really just also having more and more and more. And I think actually that our technology is going to adapt to that need. And not so long ago, I heard a podcast, I don't remember who it was, but he said that it will just be in the future really like buying a virtual item. You click and then you have it maybe now in your wallet or wherever you want it, on your avatar, but maybe it will be also a click and then you have this kind of strange machine in your house that just like prints it or something like that immediately.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, it'd be pretty neat, but what does that mean? Like, how many things would people then suddenly buy? Like, let's say you have so many products these days that are like under five euros or whatever, and you have all these people that, they don't need these products, but they just buy it because they look cool, because they do online. I mean, the images look great, and if you can just like print it, what does that mean for material consumption and stuff like that? I have no idea really, but I find it super fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Did you have something?
From my side, I probably will sound bland, but I believe in education. Maybe we are lost after it, right? But maybe there is still chance. That's why, for example, the collection you've seen on the show, it's a sustainable circular collection. I asked my friends to pull the kind of items that they think are cool, and they bought it, they were nice. And from this, we cut and sew all the pieces that you've seen today. And this is maybe some part of the answer, what to do with this overproduction that is definitely happening right now and can be even accelerated by AI. Maybe we can learn how to reuse the items that are already there to create these cool pieces, instead of creating more and more items from new materials, creating more polyester that then go to garbage. That's something that I have in my mind, but definitely it needs like a solid educational layer.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
we are not there yet.
Definitely. You had something there, Sarah?
No, really, that was just really my dream for digital fashion to achieve that people have whatever they have that's physical, but it's out of date, it's out of fashion, it's not in the season anymore because the seasons change so fast, but they have the possibility to add digital layers onto these physical pieces to make it a new season, basically,
Yeah.
with the digital layer. So this piece that they're having, they don't have to buy something else, they're just gonna get a digital layer on top of that. I think if it's used like this technology is really awesome.
Yeah, I just wonder, kind of, with that being said, like digital fashion can be so imaginative and so extreme, as well as like our online identities can really be a separate entity or a separate expression from our physical reality, which, you know, there's different social spaces and judgment and things like that. I just wonder, kind of, is there a risk of there being an overindulgence in the online space, or a kind of detachment from reality, or a detachment from your identity if you're kind of one person in the physical and then you have this other identity in the digital layer? Like, how do you guys think that could affect you, like, as an individual?
Yeah. Sorry. I'd like to start just, but just a little point that from the statistics in the younger generation, I think it was from 14 to 17 years old, more than 75% said they care more about digital identity than their real world identity. So you can insult them in public, in school, or whatever, they don't care. But if you create a nasty post about them in social media, they get very, very upset. So I think this overindulgence in digital, it is kind of problem that could happen if we add even more digital things to our identity. But the same as the previous question, I still believe in some sort of education, and with the leaders and the industry working together, right, to get to some sort of standards, maybe we can tackle this as well.
Yeah, do you guys have anything to say?
Yeah, something that's always fascinated me about fashion is that there are very few things that you buy off the shelf that increase in value after you've bought them. And what that signals to me is that people buy things because they really like them. They want to wear that thing, they want to signal that thing, and they don't really care that the value drops so much.
Yeah.
With the proliferation of online things that don't deteriorate, that can be transferred, that can seamlessly integrate into marketplaces, there's more of a financial incentive around that kind of trading. And as I was a gamer growing up as a kid, and yes, there was an aesthetic aspect to what I wore, but then there were all of these other layers of stats and buffs and things and rarity that meant that I would wear something that was appropriate for my level. I wouldn't wear something purely aesthetic. And it came with little adjustments, like you can dye it purple, you can dye it red, or whatever. So I think that the dynamics of what fashion becomes when there is this non-fungibility, this non-deterioration, it risks, it could be a positive, but I'm kind of thinking about the risk of over-financialization of these things and how that's going to affect the kind of, lurching after social hierarchy and just being more and more rare and more exclusive and more kind of at the epitome of this interconnected web where everyone knows that thing is super scarce and everyone wants it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of exactly what happens in the NFT space or the PFP space. It's this, it becomes, fluid between whether it's you're buying it because you like it and you're buying it because it's signaling something in the community, or you're buying it because you're investing, per se. I mean, you already have that in fashion with luxury, but that's not usually so easy to buy into unless you're kind of earning high. And then there's like sneaker people who already kind of do that on the ground. There's a big culture around kind of collecting and trading. But it's definitely a different bracket of the fashion world as well. In the digital, it does, like you said, it facilitates that more because it's so tradable. It's like so easy to track the value, which is kind of what the whole blockchain aspect has been suited for, in a sense. Did you guys have anything to say on?
Yeah, I wanted to get back a bit to the original question, like the difference between the identity online and offline.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get back a bit also about the beauty side of it, because beauty
Yeah.
is a big part of fashion. I mean,
Of course.
fashion and beauty, they go hand in hand, right? And I'm an AR creator, so I was there from the beginning when just the cutie cat filters turned into like the, you know, smooth skin ones that turned into the AI generated smooth skin ones. So everyone looks perfect like a Kardashian. And that's nothing new anymore, of course, but there's obviously this problematic about this. But on the other hand, the longer you are kind of online, and I must say I'm online now, I would say actively since 2.5 years that I'm really into social media and stuff like this. And I think the biggest difference between online and offline is that for me, it's really like two different personalities with two different characters and two different styles even. It's like I have two times me, like the online me and the offline me. And I should interview some young people that are online a lot, how they are dealing with this. But for me, it's not a problem, because really when I'm not online, I'm just a normal person, flesh and skin, and I wear the things that are available in the physical space. And online, you're using all these things that are just simply not possible in the physical space. It's just simply not possible. So for me, the same way as this is not possible, there's also two different identities happening that
But
are disconnected.
it reminds me of like, there are people though who get frustrated, especially when it comes to AR filters,
Yeah,
where it's
That's
like
problematic.
they want to be that so bad that they're getting
Yeah.
plastic surgery. Like
Yeah.
there's so much plastic surgery around related to using the AR filters, especially
Yeah,
the beauty ones. Yeah.
That's the biggest problem this has created, and I don't know if the beauty industry and the beauty operations have become that much of a problem right now because of AR, but I think it definitely has accelerated this problem. And of course, that's not great. But what I meant with my example, my personal example, is for me that actually I think it's possible to coexist with your virtual identity in a way and not try to become that virtual identity, because as long as we're flesh and skin, that's just literally impossible.
Yeah.
And for me, that's how it feels like to have these two worlds collide. And what AR is doing there in the future, I think that's still to be seen.
Yeah. Did you have anything to add there, Simon?
I think to expand on that, I think it's even worse. It's not only two personas, right? The real one and the digital one. I think it's the real one and then digital persona for every environment where you are. So I think it's even more schizophrenic with having 10 or more digital identities, at least, from the research and from the stuff I'm experiencing. Yeah, it's even more than two. So that's difficult, especially for, I think, older generations to understand how is it happening, right? Like, why is it happening? And there are some social implications of this as well, that the younger people, they live in the digital. And for us as people involved in digital fashion and avatars, we have to put a lot of thinking, outside of just creating the items in the long run, how to be inclusive, right, and maintain this diversity. Because what you mentioned, Sarah, is like, people are they're trying to be the kind of version of themselves that they see through AR filters, that making them more beautiful, more perfect, more aligned with different skin tone or whatever. But it can make them to make wrong decisions. So I think it's also on us to think about it, how to solve this issue. And I don't have a specific idea how to do it. I just dream about it, that we will come up with some sort of answer.
Honestly, there is currently, I think we're already a bit too far into this online identity thing, especially the young generation. I mean, I don't think there's a reverse, but I also don't really think it's actually that bad necessarily. I do think there's a problematic here with the surgical part, because I think it's not nice that everyone looks exactly the same. I think that's just completely stupid. But apart from that, I think the being able to recreate yourself online in a whatever way you want, I think it's beautiful, actually. and I think it's very creative. And I think that's often the aspect that's also forgotten about this. AR is definitely a good example for creating versions of yourself that just are impossible otherwise. And I think that's beautiful, and I think it's super, super powerful to be able to have this kind of confidence online also. I think it can also give you confidence, not just the other way around.
Yeah, I think it's, definitely there is a positive, beautiful part to it as well. When I sound negative, it's just because I seen too much. Like in the memes, right? Like,
I mean,
I just see too much.
Don't worry, it's okay
Please.
it's not negativity, it's also like critical thought, there has to be a darkness and a light when you have these discussions, and that's, I think, how you avoid the dystopian future, in a way, That's also why we have these panels and stuff. It's like a forum to flesh out all of the potential hazards that we might incur along the way.
Yeah, I always try to stay positive with this stuff, especially because it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
I try to see the light.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, I think it is definitely really cool, like, especially in terms of having that forum and that space to like test self-expression. When I was like a baby club kid, I had to do that in public, and it's, it's quite harsh. A lot of people yell at you, call you names, you just got to go for it. But I do see that having those outlets and those spaces, even Instagram in the first place, you could find those aesthetic niches and attach yourself to them, and it gave people a lot more confidence to test that out in reality. So I do think that's a big positive, like you said, very beautiful in a way, that there's more space for variation of aesthetics and subculture. And I definitely noticed that, like, in the NFT or the Web3 space too, having those like aliases in your PFP front, and it's almost like you see these people adopting an alternate persona, almost like a aspirational persona, gathering their own like community around that persona that might be so separate from their everyday life. But I think it's really cool. It's what has essentially built the culture of what is this Web3 space. I was just kind of wondering, we've got like 2.5 minutes left. Do you think that the digital fashion trends that we have will eventually impact the sustainability efforts over the broader fashion industry? Like, have you seen that start to happen? Yeah, Temu? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Maybe, Sarah, you want to talk a bit about Temu? I know you're a fan.
No, I don't actually want to talk about Temu, but I think if anyone has ever seen what Temu is selling, that's just kind of self-explanatory how the efforts of sustainability are just like right now 360 going backwards.
Yeah, it's true. It's pretty scary, everything, because the AI aspect of things especially is kind of like hitting quite hard right now. You were showing me stuff, like there's pictures online of stuff you can buy that doesn't even exist. It's a bit creepy.
I think there are certain dynamics that are more concepts than actualities, but I do, to call it a couple of specific ones, I do like the idea that a community can rally around something that doesn't exist and define what they want and then have it produced.
Yeah.
So this kind of inversion of the typical, like, let's produce a bunch of stuff and then try and shove it down their throats and convince them to buy it.
Yeah.
So that's nice in concept. And I also think that this is a time to kind of expand the definition of digital fashion. So it's not just about digital clothes that avatars wear, but it's the whole meta layer of all the information that we can connect to physical production and physical supply chains. And so there's a lot of stuff that has to happen there because there's really nothing, the communication chains are all broken, but I think we're looking towards a future where there's going to be more and more pressure to make that stuff real and connected.
At least in the EU with the a lot of the law changes in the fashion industry. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a lot of crackdown and audits happening in the industry to make sure there's a more sustainable production flow.
Yeah.
Anyone bought something on Temu?
Yeah, anyone bought anything on Temu yet? Yes. Oh yeah? What did you get?
Well, they told me that I was going to get 5 items for free.
Oh, that's not.
An outfit for NFT Fest.
Oh,
I found these glasses. No, they didn't come through. But I managed to find these glasses on Temu. And then I found them a bit later at something called We
Oh, all right.
I wanted to say not about the Timo part, but yeah, but I see the ads all the time. It's pissing me off. I wanted to say something on the Wesley, what Wesley mentioned. I'm actually exploring now the business idea kind of advance of the concept of platform where people are rallying in around the item that's going to be produced. I think later this year we will have a soft launch with 5 designers just to test it out, how is it working, and if we can see that their communities can decide what item they want to be created, right, from the set of items that the designer will prepare using digital art. So this is some process that I want to test out to experiment this year and launch it and see how it goes.
Yeah, cool. Look forward to checking that out. Well, we're in the red. Bam, bam. I would love to know from you guys. Let's have a little vote. You know, we've been talking about this topic of whether digital fashion affects our desires to either crave new things or buy less. So can I just get a show of hands? Who thinks that digital fashion will make us want more fashion in the future?
The broad audience.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo! All right. What about you? Oh, 6. What are you guys voting? You guys want to? No? Okay. Oh, 7. And we got who thinks that digital fashion is going to make us want to shop less?
Overall, in both realms, physical and digital. Shop less overall.
Shop less in physical.
In physical.
1.
I hope.
Oh, in physical.
In physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2, 3. Oh, it's us against you guys. Damn, all right. Okay. Very interesting statistics we have here, friends. I like it too.
Small sample size, but significant.
Yeah, let's post that on Statista and we'll see what happens.
Let's submit it to McKinsey. Let's have them do a report.
All right, well, thank you for being a part of our little chat. If you could
Thank you,
please
Shaylee,
give
for
us
hosting.
a really loud round of applause because there's not a lot of you, and just having that little boost would be fabulous. So if you go 1, 2, 3, go hard, you know. Thank you. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's take a picture.
Oh yeah, you guys can take pictures of us. All right.
Oh, no, not my phone. It gives like shitty pictures.
Okay. Does anyone who has the best phone?
I got a really good phone.
Okay. Let's go.
Oh, you're over
Let's-
to take it? Okay.
Let's do it fashionably.
Then we need to go down to then.
Okay, now someone else.
Okay. Yeah. Try a few more.
Wow, okay.
You haven't been out with us yet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
No, you like it.
Okay.
What? Like the ground? Yeah, I love the. No, it's fine. I love the floor. Do you guys want to do another fashion show just while we're here? Okay.
They came from-
Just one by one.
Wait. You want to join us for a fashion
Come on, guys.
show?